Okay, we're ready to get going. Good morning. Welcome to the Cincinnati Green Building Tour Series, which is hosted by Chuck Laurie in partnership with USGBC Ohio and is sponsored by the Sustainability Partnership of Cincinnati, David Smith, Solar Energy Solutions, and Third Sun Solar. We'll take a quick look at today's agenda. We'll do some housekeeping, a partner overview, some sponsors and other resources. Then we'll do the tour proper. We'll do some background and a live tour, and then we'll wrap up. So first, let's do some housekeeping. Please mute yourself and turn your camera off. This is to help conserve bandwidth. Please introduce yourself in the chat box. Add your name, title, company, and location. You can post your questions in the chat box throughout the session, and we'll address them during the tour as appropriate. And we'll be following up with a recording of the session, which Chuck will distribute through the website, and we'll send out the recording in the PDF as well. So just really quickly, my name is Mary Ellen Etienne, and I'm the director of USGBC Ohio. We are pleased to work with the presenters of the Green Building Tour Series to host this virtual platform and to serve as a promotional partner. So USGBC is changing the way buildings and communities are designed, built, and operated. Here in Ohio, we are working together to advance green buildings in the state. There are over 4,000 LEED certified projects in Ohio with over 150 million square feet. Two of our top bragging rights is that we're #1 globally in green schools, and that's thanks to the leadership of the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission. And we're also #7 nationally in LEED homes, thanks to the leadership of City of Cincinnati and their tax abatement program and the strong green building network that supports this effort here in Cincinnati. So thanks for coming today. And now I'm going to pass it over to Chuck Laurie of Laurie & Associates.
Well, hi, I'm Chuck Laurie, a volunteer with the U.S. Green Building Council for a long time, and I enjoy trying to help produce these green building tours. It's always nice to go see the places that inspire us in person. So I'd also like to just mention that we're going to help promote some of the LEED buildings in Cincinnati by giving out a gift certificate, a $25 gift certificate. So whoever has the birthday closest to August 3rd, 2021, when it'll be a lot warmer, I'll send them the gift certificate. So appreciate you attending. These tours are sponsored by the Sustainability Partnership of Cincinnati. They a group of companies I'll go through. Green Bow is a design build firm. Steve Hampton and Tony Beck are the partners. We toured Steve's home. It's a renovation on Walnut for one of these home tours. And then Paul Yankee is another founder of the Sustainability Partnership, and they have a Green Raider organization, which you need to work with if you're going to have a LEED home in Cincinnati and get the tax abatement. That's Laurie Quinn-Liven's home there. And they also do heat modeling, as you see. This is in my company. I do commercial LEED documentation, as well as our carbon footprint measurement system. There's no cost to that system. It's a great way for an organization to measure their carbon footprint. Greener Stock is Heather Estrich's business in the East End. There you can find sustainable cabinets and floor and cabinetry and tiles, everything you'd need for your home or office. Ben Haggerty is the owner of Green Streets Cincinnati. They do stormwater mitigation systems and green walls, and did the green roof you see there at City Hall. Julian Gardner is the owner of One Small Garden. This is a great way to use local native cedar, all the cedar trees that you see, that she works with Amish craftsmen to build raised beds, chicken coops, and small outbuildings. Pattern Concrete of Cincinnati, Paul Schneider's company. Concrete use is very popular in a passive solar designed home for the thermal mass. Tepe Services helps you with your garden design of native and adaptive plants and intelligent watering systems. And then David Smith is a green realtor designation that helps homeowners that want to buy a home that's LEED certified or is a high HERS rating or has solar panels. David's helpful in negotiating those resources here in Greater Cincinnati. Solar Energy Solutions, Cy Mashlik is a very extensive portfolio of homes and businesses in Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. Third Sun Solar, Jeff Greenfield, they installed the solar panels on my house. You know that the tax abatement's going away, so you need to get those installed this year to get some money back. And now I'd just like to introduce our business owner, Don Schwartzman. I've known her for many years. We go back to 2004 when we founded the Greater Cincinnati Form Follows Function. It was a mid-century modern homeowners group. Put that together, and she's toured some of the other mid-century homes, and those are the inspiration that I got for these home tours and building tours. She's got a fantastic company that helps offices be more sustainable, and it was a real evolution from her interest as the environmental design and bringing that into an office space. And our other presenter is Yasha Og. He's an architect with Immersion Design. Immersion built net zero District 3 police station on the west side, and they're on the premier architectural firms in the world for sustainable design. So thank you very much, Dawn and Yasha, for taking the time to show off your project.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So thank you, Mary Ellen and Chuck, and good morning, Yasha. Here we go. We're the partners in this adventure of designing with according to well building principles. So starting off here, we're going to show you some images from our office, and then we'll give you a tour of how it all fits together shortly. But we do spend approximately 90% of our time indoors. So it makes sense that we really pay attention to what that experience is like. Our environment is the largest determinant of our overall health. And you can see this little pie chart that shows that, what an impact just our physical environment has, and in comparison to some of the other genetics, medical, and lifestyle. So our health really does begin at home and at work and all the spaces, interior and exterior, that we experience every day.
This is still Dawn, sorry.
This is still me, yeah. So the question, I have the good fortune of owning our building and also owning the business. So I often get asked why would a building owner want to do well, or what does it mean for a business owner? So we've just highlighted a few concepts here. For a building owner, it's going to increase your property value. Besides, you'll have the improved health and well-being of the occupants. It also really engages you with your community, and because you've invested in better air quality, enhanced lighting, thermal comfort, and especially the view of nature, that is all going to go into increasing your square foot comps. From a business owner's perspective, you just automatically are going to improve the health and well-being of your employees. So what does that mean? Probably one of the biggest factors, well, not only are they healthier, but a big factor for employers today is just trying to attract and retain employees. I think over the years, folks are just getting a lot more particular about places they will work in and won't work in. The whole well process, and you'll see that as we talk about the features, really can engage your entire team, and it can be a part of the mission and vision of your organization. Specific to enriching spaces, it's an additional value to the work we already do. We design, project manage, and also are the certified dealer for vendors like Herman Miller, OFS brands. So just pulling that extra value of the experience we have in well building is significant. So this is just an easy chart that shows how much money a typical company, or what percentage of their expense is with salary and benefits. And then, so you see 90%, and then 9% in rent and operations, and 1% in energy. And often the investment is not necessarily made with where your largest investment is. So you can protect that investment by investing in the health and well-being of your people. Just the cost of turnover, of sick days, of all the other ailments that can come, both in health and wellness, is really impactful. I thought an interesting statistic was that 100% of the occupants are going to benefit by working in a well environment, versus there's usually only about a 15% participation in any company-sponsored wellness offering, whether that's the fitness center or all the other factors. So whether they're wanting it or not, they're getting it.
So as Don said, in Enriching Spaces, we pursued the International Well Building Institute's well building standard. The well building standard is the sort of the leading global movement to transform our buildings and communities. And its main focus is driven towards the health and wellness of the occupants inside the building. And so what I like to say is that, like, where LEED looks at the energy and water efficiency and material safety of buildings, the well building standard starts to look at the water quality and like the health of the people inside of those buildings. And it does that through 10 different concepts, as you can see in the middle of the screen, that are based on the current health data and research that's available globally to look at. And so the well building standard really focuses on looking at how can our buildings be healthier for the people inside of it. Additionally, another difference between the LEED and well rating standards is that the LEED rating standard looks at, you certify the building once you've completed construction, and then the process of certification is done until you start looking into the operations and maintenance certification standard. With the well building standard, it ties all that together and requires not only third-party administered testing on site in the building, but it also requires a renewal of that credential program every 3 years. So this is Enriching Spaces. It is like Don said, it's a furniture showroom for OFS brands, Herman Miller, Interface, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some others. It was originally built in 1989, and about 50% of the space is showroom, and the other 50% of the space is warehouse area. and most of that warehouse area has been renovated to increase the showroom and studio spaces. And so the lower level is mostly the studio area, and then the main floor has the majority of the showroom and the actual office areas where Don's employees work. And it's located in the Cincinnati Forest Park, which is just north of the city of Cincinnati. And yeah, welcome to Enriching Spaces. And so this next part, we're going to take a deep dive into what we actually did in the building in order to achieve the WELL Platinum certification. So starting with air, the concept for air really focuses on promoting clean air and minimizing human exposure to those harmful contaminants or volatile organic compounds that, or that new car smell that some of us like to smell and others don't. I get a headache from them. But what we started to look at was how much air, or what is the air quality inside the Enriching Spaces' building. So we purchased an air quality monitor and started taking data samples, continuous data samples, just to see what the threshold was that we were at. And from taking that information from the continuous air monitor, we then were able to see when things were spiking, and we could also start to deduce what the reason was behind sort of poor air quality spikes within the building.
Do you have an example of finding an air quality issue, Yasha?
Yes. Because I'm not on site at Enriching Spaces, I asked every now and then for the raw data. And so Kayla, which is one of Don's employees, she sent me the raw data for the last probably month or something like that. This was about a year ago. And so I was looking through it and essentially just highlighted where things were spiking. And there was an entire weekend where everything was off the charts. And so I asked Don, like, what happened over the weekend that made everything go up?
They cleaned the carpets.
Exactly, they did.
Space.
And so because we could tell then when they actually deep cleaned it, we could also then start to look at how the cleaning products that they were using were impacting the space. And so Don has an entire story about going through cleaning products and updating.
Oh, that's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
I'd encourage everybody to get an air quality monitor for their home.
Yes, and for projects pursuing LEED certification, the air quality assessment credit, I feel like it's lesser used. The more common used one is to just do a air flush out of the building, but there is the alternative to actually get air quality monitoring that's continuously done to pursue that or to achieve that credit. And
that's air quality monitoring as part of the ARC carbon footprint measuring system.
Yes, and it'll tie into the operations and maintenance of the building LEED certification credit as well. So I agree with Chuck. Air quality monitors are a great investment to achieve multiple different.
Yeah, they're just about $100, and you can have it on your phone app, and you can see at any time the quality, and you can get alerts.
Unfortunately, this one was a bit more expensive than that, but it was necessary for us to do the pre-testing and really understand. This was probably the biggest investment. It was in the air quality. There were 4 old heat pumps, and we discovered that 4 out of our 6 units didn't even have fresh air intakes, so it was punching through the roof. But I worked closely with our HVAC vendor, and we just did everything we had to refit 2 new filters. So we went to the MERV 13, and it was also one of the most gratifying the different features because there was an immediate change in our air quality. You come in the morning, you don't have that closed up smell, or after a weekend, and you know, we got the immediate feedback that instead of investing in expensive mechanical systems to tell us to adjust things if the pollen count was too high or humidity, where we have our sliding glass doors and screen doors, we just looked at our phone app, and if pollen counts were too high, we just have these little tags that you see on the slide that will say keep door closed today, humidity is too high, or open the door today, you can leave the screen door open because everything's good. So that was a simple way to do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. You know, if you have too much carbon dioxide in the air, it makes you sleepy. You don't get very
That's
productive if you're sleepy.
So, and then the wheezing and all allergies, it really was a dramatic change.
Yeah. So the next concept is water. So this one ties in, also overlaps with the LEED water efficiency credit or category over in LEED, but where this one, where in LEED it focuses really on the energy or water efficiency, like how much water you're using. And well, it starts to look at the actual quality of water. And so we didn't really do much in terms of changing things out at Enriching Spaces for this to meet this credit, because the Quench water filter, that's the main drinking water provider or drinking water,
System.
dispersal system. I don't know how to say that nicely. It already filters a lot of the water. And what we did actually look with and call up the Cincinnati Waterworks to understand what is the quality of water as it leaves the treatment plant versus what arrives at the actual building. And so those Waterworks' quality tests or quality results are quarterly, released quarterly, and they're free to look at. And then Don, you also had someone come out and test the water.
From Cincinnati Waterworks, because I had asked them, they do that complimentary for your home. And when I told them what we were doing, they did a complimentary pre-testing for us at 3 different locations so that we could, you know, be comfortable that we would be set for the well tester. Yeah. And you see the well tester there, right? He's taking samples of everything. And and I think one of the biggest, the education, you'll see we have posters throughout the facility. I put one here to just buy the drinking water, reminding people we really have reduced using any bottled water. If possible, learning about plasticized migration, that kind of thing. So
well, we're on water, and as you can see from the icons at the top, there's nourishment, light, movement, thermal comfort, sound, materials, mind, and community. So there's a lot to this standard.
Yeah.
So get on it, Yasha.
I'm getting through it.
We'll pick up the pace a little bit here. Nourishment, I'll speak a little bit about. This was a little challenging. Really, anything that's provided by the company needed to meet certain criteria. So you can just see there on the side, everything from portion size, any snacks, that they're healthy, that we accommodate all dietary restrictions. So you'll see in some of the images, we tried to provide healthy snacks. It doesn't mean if people want to bring in their own unhealthy things to eat, but it's no more the company's paying for the pizza that has all the stuff in it. So everything is labeled with what's in it. Also, the team here at Enriching Spaces picked out some periodicals and books that spoke to some recipes and that kind of thing. One of the interesting discoveries was in soft drinks just by reducing to the smaller cans, except for root beer and a few that still were just had too much sugar content. We can offer a soft drink, but it meets the portion size.
Lighting was a very technical component. So where LEED looks at the lighting and very briefly, WELL definitely starts to take a much more in-depth look of lighting, including looking at circadian lighting and how can the lighting inside the building start to impact.
Well, explain what circadian lighting is, Yasha.
Yeah, so circadian lighting, or circadian rhythm, let's start there, is our innate sort of wake sleep cycle that we have essentially entrained into our DNA. And so as the day sort of progresses, in the morning we're usually a lot more awake. That's because the wavelength of light coming from the sun is more in the blue range, so it really starts to suppress our melatonin and production so that we actually are more awake in the morning. As the day progresses, that blue light becomes less direct and everything shifts more towards the red spectrum. And so as the sun sets and stuff, we start to become more tired when we're outside, at least.
And the interior lighting mimics that?
So the interior lighting, there's two different kinds of interior lighting circadian options. One is that just looks at the color transition from a more cool light to a more warm light as the day progresses. That one is much more focused on the psychological aspect of actually that shift. And then there's another lighting that technology that's called BIOS lighting, and that one looks at the actual impact to our biology, so that our photoreceptors in our eyes actually pick up the correct blue light that in nanometer blue range that we need in order to suppress that melatonin.
Well, that's a good explanation. And also you can look at the colors of the different fabrics and furniture if you have good lighting.
Correct.
One thing we found was most significant with lighting was providing options to individuals to adjust the lighting or move to areas that have those adjustments or the lighting they prefer. I have folks here that like to work, I consider work in almost dark rooms, and other folks that come in and want all the lights up. So if you can provide enough variety of lighting in your space, that seemed to be the most appreciated factor.
Yeah.
So the encouragement of movement, we do in a lot of different ways, and part of that is meeting certain points in this in these features. We have outdoor walking paths. We encourage that. We currently have a step contest going on. Whoever does the most steps in the month gets a prize. My team came up with that idea. Before COVID, we were having yoga. We'll look forward to having that come again. That was very, very popular. Obviously, the business we're in, we can empower our folks with sit-to-stand work surfaces, ergonomic chairs, encourage a good circulation path on these cold days. Even they have a whole path through the upper level, down the stairs, through the studio that maximizes their steps.
Nice.
Thermal comfort, this can be somewhat confusing, but this is really individually based too. Some people are naturally chilled. Some people are a little bit more heated up. And when you have a whole team of women like I do, it's all over the place. So really providing that not only they can move to different places in the building that bring them more comfort, but providing blankets, as simple as it was, that everybody had a company issued blanket, that they can have an individual fan, that if they want a foot heater, we've got that. And that really affects productivity tremendously when people are thermally comforted.
Yeah, I love the foot heater. I hadn't heard of that before.
Sound was an interesting one to go through. We had a preliminary testing done just to look at understand how the acoustics would actually be in the space. And so the guy down in the lower right-hand corner, he's doing the reverberation test. And so for that one, the way he's doing it is the accurate way to do it, where you blow up a balloon and then pop it, and then measure how long it takes for the reverberation to die down to a certain level. And so I'm pretty sure that Donna and I thought we were going to fail the sound like performance testing when we actually went through the final testing, because the studio space is just not very well acoustically designed. It's getting there, but I was very fearful that we weren't going to pass that. But fortunately for the actual well testing, all that was actually measured was the area where people were actually working in. So the upstairs area where you see myself sitting in the back and the guy testing for ambient sound, that is really the only space that we needed to test for in our project. Materials, this was a big one. This was the one where reason why Dawn brought me in on the project when she first started the
Absolutely. We were naive when we started our well process. And when we started getting into the materials section, that's when I went for a search for a well AP, and fortunately found Yasha and the team at Immersion joined on, because it's highly technical.
It is very technical. A lot of it crosses over with leads. So that's where I had some experience already in doing a lot of the requirements for well, because they're very similar to the lead requirements. I also had an idea of where I would even find the information. And so because Enriching Spaces, we did not actually do any renovations of the entire space, and it's not a new building. All the existing materials, we did not necessarily have to look up product data information for. The part that we actually needed to look up product data for was related to the bathroom updates and some of the furniture. So it definitely reduced the amount of materials we needed to start to get and analyze.
And floor coverings, right.
Oh, and floor coverings, yes.
Well, the next criteria of mine is one of the most unique ones for the well building standard.
Yes.
It is, and it's one of probably the most increasingly challenging areas that companies are facing today, and that's the mental health of everybody that works there. So just providing the resources, also we've got a mother's room, which is also a meditation room, but our outdoor, encouraging people to take micro breaks and take a walk outside into nature, and just continued education is key in this area.
Well, we'll wrap up with community and then we'll go on the tour.
Mm-hmm. And community is just a whole breadth of things. We were not ADA, we did not have entrances, redoing the restrooms to our everyone buddy restrooms, and accommodating families, all kinds of folks, and having individual restrooms, but also working with the community on talking about walking paths, doing our CPR training, get to know our emergency planning with the police and fire department. So I'll let you then transition this while I go up to the camera.
Great. And while Dawn's going to the camera, Yasha, there was a question about if you hadn't passed the sound portion, what was your plan B? Would you add more fabrics, soft surfaces to the room?
Our plan B was, at least for the studio space downstairs, would have been to add acoustic ceiling tiles strategically. So maybe not the entire ceiling, but parts of the ceiling so that it would get somewhat covered, and then also add acoustic. Now that I'm thinking about it, we probably could have also added artwork, but at that time, our sort of like an acoustic felt something on the walls to start to dampen the sound.
Right. Another question was if there were any issues with the foot heaters tripping circuits, or did you have to add more electric circuits?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
No,
good.
they're definitely low. They didn't require a lot of energy.
All right. Well,
We-
Don, you've got it.
Do I? So I just, if you want to transfer.
Josh, have you stopped share?
I did.
Okay. And
Well, we have a nice, beautiful sunny day for the light in the offices are just amazing. So it's very, very inviting to see the sunlight beaming in. It has a lot of characteristics of light shelves and.
okay. I removed the spotlight, so it's all your camera, Don.
I'm sorry, I just.
Oh.
Just getting that pulled up. One of the things that makes the well building standard very unique is the requirement that it needs on-site performance testing. And so because at that point, COVID had come around and hit us, we were originally going to do the performance testing back in March, and then that's when everything shut down. So we had to delay that until August.
Okay, we have you now, Don.
Okay, so here, we'll keep this and we know we're getting tight on time, but coming in the front door, just hoping that we can do a few scans through our facility. So all those little snippets of images that you can see. So when you come in to Enriching Spaces and our entrance here, just kind of move you through to our main work areas and our cafe and reception for guests, but also where we eat. And we're all interface glueless carpet. This is the main work area, and the convenience to drinking water is a big part of as well as when you get into our cafe, hand washing sink, a lot of details on that. And especially with COVID, these have become more important. So you can see that even off our cafe, you can walk out to the deck, you can work on the deck. We have Wi-Fi throughout. And have created a lot of different types of areas where people can work. Some people like to see, figuring this out a little bit here. Tripod. So this is where Yasha was sitting in that one picture. Notice blankets, pillows, and anybody could just have a really quick casual meeting. So our main work area, everybody has a sit to stand surface so they can stand and work or sit throughout the day, and ergonomic seating. Here you can see some of the materials that were laid out for this project, from carpet to fabrics and finishes. And again, it's a little bright looking out there, but this is a view that everybody in the workspace can enjoy. So I'll just continue to kind of walk through like you were here with me. So there's private areas if you need to get on a conference call or somebody just needs a little bit of heads down space. And you can see the variety of lighting. Most of these rooms have dimmers. Sometimes people go in and they don't have, there's enough daylight that they turn all the lights off. Here's a little peek into my space. Let me know if you want me to slow down it at all, or I'll just keep moving. And through our workspace, we really tried to tend to every area. And you'll see, obviously this space is very nature inspired by the colors and textures.
Do you have some special ventilation for your copier?
No, we don't. Do we need that? It didn't come up in our air quality tests.
Well, that's good. They probably, the copiers have improved and don't
Yeah.
gas.
So this is our library area. And while you're looking through, the spacing is very different here because of COVID. We're really emphasizing our distance. But this is where the magic happens in terms of picking furnishings, finishes. And here's a good example of a little nook. And this is often one of those rooms that people don't even bother turning the lights on. Just show you the difference there. So we'll just, some of our space is much more retail oriented. You can see some of the Herman Miller products here. And now I'm just going to move to the other side.
Okay. Quite the clock collection.
Yeah. Yes, those are the Nelson clocks. I'll show you just a favorite little niche. Here's a sunny, this is often really sunny in the morning, and often people will be up here working in this little booth. And it's just a very comforting sort of pergola area.
That's where I like to work whenever I'm out at Enriching Space.
So even our guests, our associates, if they've got a meeting with us, they just spend the rest of the day working here. We have plenty of spaces to work in. So then this other part that used to be warehousing, we actually have left. We've actually left the dock because we always have products coming in and out, especially chairs. To get a little sense of also some other lighting options, almost like street lamps.
Wow, it's a fabulous showroom for all the different lighting techniques.
Mm-hmm. So then I'm just going to give you I'm going to try to maneuver here just to go downstairs quickly to give you a scan of the studio. So do you feel like you're visiting with us? I can't wait till you can come in person.
Oh, well, one of the questions is, what are the long-term benefits do you anticipate to be achieved from these enhancements?
Well, we're already seeing them.
What kind of cultural changes have you noticed?
You mean with my team?
Yes.
Or, well, here, let me watch my steps first.
I guess people want to come to work and they don't want to leave.
Well, they do want to come to work, and I guess the best selling feature for our customers is when they come to visit us, they say, "I want to work here."
Yeah, right. That's a good
and
endorsement.
our associates, that's why they say, "Can I just spend the rest of the day and work here?"
That's an excellent endorsement.
So this is real. Everything in the studio space is on wheels. So this is very versatile for large groups, any kind of meeting, our yoga. You can see the view of the bamboo outside here. And I'll just do a quick scan.
So do you measure the productivity of your employees? And do you have any way of measuring that?
Well, you know, I guess we aren't a kind of company that actually can measure necessarily output, but I will tell you, I have a top-notch team, and I call them the SWAT team. They're very, very efficient. And one thing that was hard for me to register was sick days, because we didn't really have too many sick days. We were a good fit because we believed in everything that WELL teaches us.
Are people taking less vacation time?
Well, I hope not. I hope they take all their vacation time.
Well, that's the way it should be.
That's more the issue, to convince people, yes, you need to take your vacation time. And we provide a lot of other benefits too, in terms of, you know, if they are sick, they've got everything they need to work from home. So I'm just walking you into our little meditation and mother's room and power nap room. So this fits a lot of purposes. There's a recliner in here. And right away, we had a couple women who became mothers and put this room right to work. So how am I doing? I tried to speed us up a little bit because I could see the time.
We still have a few more minutes.
A little train.
If you want to go outside and show us, is that accessible?
Well, except there's a pile of snow out there.
Well, they do have a very beautiful garden with paths, and the bamboo really looks amazing through the windows.
So one of the projects that we're starting this spring, I'm really excited about it. I'm doing this at my home too. When Davey asked me to sign our lawn mowing contract for this year, I said, no, I can't do it anymore. I didn't want the mowing, you know, the gas for mowing and blowing. It was between 28 and 30 times a year. And all the chemicals that the grass was using and extra irrigation. So we're taking out all the grass this year.
Wow, that's
and we're
incredible.
Moving to, I had to talk with both Evendale and Forest Park about this, but we're going to move to more native plantings and more
Like
expand the
meadow?
walking.
Meadow plants, I mean, a pollinator garden, or?
Well, I'm spending a lot of time just thinking about it. I definitely also want some more carbon loving pines. So I'd like to get some more trees in the space.
So you have so much shade that you don't need grass.
Absolutely. And just use other different kinds of mulching and chips and pathway, maybe, you know, some stone. And they're excited about it. I said, I'll still do the business with you. Just take that money and let's use it in a different way.
Are you going to have a vegetable garden?
No.
Because herb garden?
You mean here at the office?
Yeah, sure. Make an herb garden. That's a very low.
Do you want to come take care of it?
Well, herbs will take care of themselves.
Yeah, I have that at home, but what I have had to look at their proposals, because I do a lot of gardening myself, and to have something that's still low maintenance. So when we think about native plants, I also want to focus on what the winter landscape looks like, because it is beautiful here for 3 seasons, but we want to be more mindful about what can we do for enhancing the winter landscape.
Well, I'd really like to follow your efforts on this, because this is a big sea change as to what to do to get away from grass.
You know, you're so right. And that's why I had to talk to the communities about it, because here in the business park, it is grass all the way down the boulevard. And in my suburban home, everybody has a front lawn.
But you can
I've been gradually don't have any back lawns anymore.
Transition to just an evergreen, a very low a low growth evergreen. The Cincinnati Zoo.
Yeah, and looking more at ground covers as other ground covers as well. So, and we're excited. We have deer and turkey, even here at the office, and just, you know, inviting nature to be a part of our experiences. We're looking out the window or taking a walk outside. So are we getting any other questions?
I don't see any at present, but if anybody has a question, please feel free to.
I'll just span the bamboo while we.
Well, that everybody is very complimentary of your space, Dawn. It's you should be really proud of it. It's an amazing example. Thank you so much for sharing it and inspiring
Sure.
us all.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. And we do have, guests can come anytime. We are masked up and we do follow all the still COVID process right now. So, but don't hesitate in giving us a call if you want to come out and see the space more intimately.
Well, I'd just like to give a plug for the other tours that we're going to have this year. On April 10th, we're going to tour Urban Stead Cheese. It's a new cheese shop in Walnut Hills near the Sales Corner. And it has just been awarded the lead new construction silver by the U.S. Green Building Council. Soul Design and Consulting was the lead rater on the project and provided the energy efficiency and green building services. It was built by Terex. So Urban Stead Cheese is a cheddar cheese factory right there on Woodburn Avenue. They passionate owners wanted to also make the building sustainable in the renovation. So we'll be doing our cheese and wine sampling then. And then October 9th, we're going to tour a modular home construction in East Walnut Hills or in Evanston. It's on Fairfield by Envisions Architecture with Sarah Kleiner is the architect. And so these are modular construction built at a facility near Dayton. And it's a very economical way to have a very high quality construction. So that will be the tour October 9th. And then November 13th, we're going to tour Soul Design and Consulting, the lead rotor that was for Urban Stead Cheese. They took a building in the Pendleton district of downtown Cincinnati and made their offices on the first floor in the basement. And then there are condos on the upper level. So that'll be a fascinating example of a dual use for an urban building. So please come and join us for those tours.
And also, if you'd like to get in touch with any of us, we're going to provide you with the contact information. So for Don, Yasha, and Chuck, and myself.
Well, thank you all very much, and come and join the local chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council and get involved with these types of promotions. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining, and thank you, Don and Yasha and Chuck. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.